V. V is for victory. What assurance does God give believers as they face trouble in the world? It is the assurance of victory. Jesus said, I have told you these things, so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Jesus said this knowing that this world is embroiled in a controversy of cosmic proportions. It is a controversy between Christ and Satan, between good and evil, between right and wrong, and human beings are in the middle of it. The beginning of this conflict is described by John in the book of Revelation as a war that broke out in heaven. Satan and the rebellious angels lost the battle in heaven and were expelled to the earth. When this happened, John heard a voice in heaven saying, Rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell in them. But woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has gone down to you. He is filled with fury, because he knows that his time is short. The devil and the rebellious angels coming to the earth brings human beings into the center of this great controversy. It is a spiritual warfare that manifests itself in every area of life, in family relationships, friendships, business, politics, church life. So when bad things happen and we are caught in the midst of a trouble or a tribulation, or when we make bad decisions, we have to look beyond the human medium through which the devil has accomplished his aim. The Apostle Paul makes this point when he writes that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Jesus also, when his disciple Peter suggested something to him that was against the plan of God for his life, he addressed Peter directly saying, Get behind me, Satan. Jesus knew fully well that as this controversy rages, Satan would not always appear in easily identifiable ways, but he disguises himself in a friendly form, just as he did with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, when he successfully co-opted human beings into this cosmic conflict. However, this does not completely exonerate anyone for their actions. Believers must be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Resist him, standing firm in the faith, because you know that the family of believers throughout the world is undergoing the same kind of sufferings. Jesus also did undergo the same kind of sufferings. The devil tempted him just as he tempts everyone today, but Christ overcame. After Jesus fasted for 40 days, Satan appeared to him and tempted him 3 times, attempting to leverage on his hunger and weakness, as well as testing his desire for riches and power. Jesus recognized those temptations for what they were, a spiritual warfare, an attempt by the devil to derail his spiritual assignment on earth. Satan does the same to believers and the people of God, all through the pages of the Bible and even today. He desires to derail God's plan for each person's life by making them choose the wrong continuously, so much that they miss God's ultimate plan for their lives. Believers are admonished not to love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in them. For everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, comes not from the Father, but from the world. The world and its desires pass away, but whoever does the will of God lives forever. In the same way Jesus was able to overcome the temptations of the devil. He loved God more than anything in the world, and that love is so strong that he would not betray it. He also depended on the word of God to nullify the tempter's words. To every temptation of the enemy, Jesus responded first with the phrase, "It is written," and then he quotes the word of God that appropriately addresses the devil's temptation. This is how he gained victory. Jesus' weapons of victory in this warfare are also available to believers who have been promised victory by Jesus. We are urged to put on the full armor of God so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything to stand, stand firm then with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. And pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for the Lord's people. As this fierce battle rages, those who will overcome must continually grow in their love for God and avail themselves daily of the full armor of God, so that they may live daily as overcomers. V is for victory.